Hello and welcome back to another episode of We Are Meant for More. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of bringing a very special guest to you. Her name is Bea-Marie Aning, known as the Expansion Mentor. Welcome.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I am so excited for this. Let me tell the audience a little bit about who you are, and I'm going to read it directly from your bio because I want to introduce you properly because I absolutely love this, and I'm so excited for the conversation. So, known as the Expansion Mentor, Bea-Marie hosts the podcast 52 Weeks of Flow, exploring peak performance, energy, and life enhancement. Her journey has been all about helping women connect the dots between their personal energy, mindset, and business success. And with over 25 years of experience in the entertainment industry, she now blends her knowledge of neuroscience, energy mastery, and business coaching to help you show up more confidently and authentically. So cool. That's a lot to unpack there. So we're going to dive right in.
Yeah.
Um, so tell me about, in a broad sense, what you do.
So, what I do is for over 25 years, I've been an actress. I've been in the industry. I know how to present myself. I know how to show up. I know how to confidently show up. And what I do is I bridge the gap between the inner work and the outer work. Because a lot of us, we do the inner work, but then we don't know how to bring that out. We know that we have changed. There's something in us that completely shifted, but we don't know how to tell the world, that we changed, that we shifted, that we transformed. So I help the inner work come out, but I also help people who are doing the outer work, who have done all of it, move that to the inside and fill the inside so that their outer work can actually shine. Because for a lot of us, it's like visibility. We need visibility. When you're an entrepreneur, when you're a coach, when you're a solopreneur, when it comes to presenting yourself online or on stage, it's all about how you show up. It's how you present yourself. Are you visible? How are you showing up? Are you showing up authentically? And sometimes we don't really know what that means. We have the branding, we maybe had a branding coach, we have this, we have this, we have this. Everything is perfectly set up, but there is this gap between us and what we show on the outside. That doesn't mean that the outside is not authentic, but there's a disconnect in some way. And that doesn't mean that you have to share your private stuff on Instagram or on social media. That's not what it's about, but it's about bringing your heart to your business, to your mission, to trusting your intuition, your gut feeling in how you show up, how you present yourself, even if you know that might scare away some people. Because for spiritual entrepreneurs, when they come out of the closet, or entrepreneurs who then discover their spiritual side or spiritual gifts, it's really, really scary because they are serious entrepreneurs. They are serious business people, and all of a sudden, it's like, wow, yeah, but there's this other side to me. There's this aha, this bling, this shine, this. All of a sudden they talk about aura or chakras or whatever. And it's like, I'm afraid of losing my face if I talk about that more. Like, how do I incorporate that side into my branding, I need to do this all over again. I need to, do a new website and do everything new. No, it's an inner shift. And it's for people like me, I help fill that gap when it comes to inside and outer work.
That is fascinating. And the gap or the disconnect can go in either direction, are you saying? So they may have the outside pieces all right, but inside something's off, or it can start, they've got all the inner work done, but not done. It's not that it's ever done, but the inner work is going well, but now it's time to really show up in the world. So the disconnect can be in either direction.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because
Okay.
sometimes we focus so much on the outside that we forget that the inner work is an ongoing process.
Mhm.
You know, it's like this thing, you have worked through trauma, you've worked through this, you worked through blockages, and then you're like, oh, yes, I'm ready to go out. I'm ready to put my offer out. I'm ready, blah, 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 blah. And you're putting everything up. And that might take, maybe it takes a month, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. And we forget that in that time, we also grow. And all of a sudden, everything that we put up on the outside that is beautiful and brilliant, and the colors, we love them, but ooh, do we really still love them? Yeah, something feels off. And this little thing that feels off is in your energy and will screw with your offer. It's not that your offer is bad. It's not that anything that you are offering or you know, are wrong. It's just that there's a disconnect and people feel that.
Isn't that wild? And that can be felt. The energy of it sends a message. So, what are some of the first things you have somebody do who feels like, oh, I've done so much inner work and now I'm ready to present myself to the world, or even just to their family and friends? They feel like they're this separate person behind the scenes doing all this work, but they don't talk to their family about their spiritual side. Or what are some steps that somebody would take to integrate the two worlds? So that it is more of an authentic presentation and that person really is kind of walking the walk.
It comes down to embodiment.
Mm.
Because when we learn, when we grow from our head, we understand.
Mhm.
You know, we can make it logical. We can do, you know, the chains of thoughts, you know, we can put it together and make it like a beautiful pearl necklace and be like, yep, 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 makes sense, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. So, but it's all up here. And most people, including me, you know, have or are still living in their head because we think that this is the center of us, whereas the center is all of us. Our soul, our energy, our consciousness is in every cell of our being. And that's where we need to be, in every cell of our being, and not just up here. So embodying who we are, embodying the change, embodying loving the change is the first thing to do. And I walk my clients through a lot of grounding exercises. It's like a daily practice. It's a daily ritual to ground. The more you ground, the more you bring this down into your body, the easier it is for you to communicate it. Because from here, to bring stuff here or here, you have to pull. You have to pull it down. It's like, okay, where are my thoughts? My thoughts are this. My thoughts are this. But when it's embodied, when it's in your body, it is in your nature. Your body has a memory. So when your body remembers movement, for example, do you do yoga?
I do.
Yeah. So you remember the asanas. You know, you don't go in a yoga class and you're like, oh, what was the first one? How does the sun salutation go? Like what? What? The yoga instructor just says, we're going to start with this, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do warrior. We're going to do warrior 1, 2, 3. And your body remembers, even if your thoughts go completely wild and you're somewhere else, your body does the work.
Oh,
So embodying your change and really fueling every cell and grounding that in your body is the first step. Apologies, I interrupted you.
not at all. No, this is amazing. So embodying it, what would be an example of a grounding exercise you might walk somebody through?
So probably you might think, well, I do that every day. Like this is not an exercise. being in nature,
Mhm.
putting your feet, like your bare feet on the ground. And if you live in a big city and you don't have a park or a forest or something like that, or a backyard, a pot with soil does the trick.
Oh my gosh.
A pot with soil with a living plant in it does the trick. Because what nature is here for, and that's not, I'm not talking down on nature, because this is the biggest job that nature can do, is to transmute energy. Trees, they take our dirt that we give off and they transform it into oxygen so that we can breathe in again. And that's the same thing. And that's the same thing with soil, with the Mother Earth, with Pachamama. Like, it's like you put your feet there and you just release energy that is no longer serving you. You don't need to know what that energy looks like, what that energy is, or it's like maybe it's disempowering thoughts that you have. And you just say, okay, I let it go. I give it away. I give it up. Please transform it. Please transmute it. Whoop. And even when you think, yeah, but it's a pot, it cannot go anywhere. The soil is isolated. Yeah, but the plant is not. The plant that is in the soil, it breathes, it transforms, it grows. So that's how nature transmutes for us.
Mm-hmm. That is absolutely fascinating. And it's such a simple technique that you could incorporate.
Yeah.
And then you talk about exploring peak performance, energy, and life enhancement. What does that mean to you? I love the concept of peak performance because it just makes me think that it requires self-mastery, and the word excellence comes to mind. And who doesn't want to show up in the world in that sort of state? Like peak performance. It sounds like something meant for the athletes or the Olympians. It doesn't feel like it's meant for me, but it is. So what does that mean to you?
Well, you basically put the nail on the head there. It was used to, like, it was meant for athletes. Like with athletes, when they were at their top level, it was like, yes, they're at their peak performance. That this is it.
Right.
Nope. That was like as well, like 15 years ago when, the coaching industry started. Everybody was like, why do you need a life coach? Why do you need that kind of coach? It's like athletes have a coach to get better. So why don't you have a coach in your life to master your life better? So why don't you have a coach that helps you with your performance at your job, at your whatever? Parenting is a hell of a job. It's really, really scary. And if you don't know what you're doing, why don't you why don't you talk to a person who knows what they're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So peak performance to me means, in the literal sense, you're so involved in a project and a thing that you're doing that you're completely losing track of time, and that you're so happy that time doesn't matter. And you're actually bending time because you are so happy, you're so productive, you're so focused. And it's called peak performance because it is a peak. It doesn't last forever. Please don't make the mistake to always want to be in peak performance. That's not what we're made up for. We can be on a really high level for a long time. But those peak performance states, that's the one where you really get involved, where you're really diving into that rabbit hole of your project, of your, like when you're working with a person one-on-one, for example, that's like a peak performance moment because you're so involved with that person, you're so connected. So for me, peak performance means that you're really gathering all your resources that you have, that you're really in the moment, that nothing else matters for you. And then you're also getting out of that again because you need that downtime. You need to relax. You need to let go of the energy that you took in during whatever you were doing.
Mhm.
Because for me, the one thing that I learned over the years that is one of the most important things in life and business, whatever you're doing, is your energy. And you can call it woo-woo, you can call it whatever you want to, but your energy is your currency. Whatever you put, it's the most valuable thing that you have. So don't waste it. Don't waste it chasing peak performances like after another, ding, 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 because this is when you start burning out. Peak performance happens when you are focused, when you're involved, when you're connected, when you love what you do, and when you don't care about time. Because time is just a concept. It's just a physical concept that we created anyway, but that's a whole nother topic. So peak performance for me is, yeah, when you can have more than one peak performance moment in a day, of course. And like I said, you can have really, really high energy throughout the whole day, but you also need downtime. Whatever kind of person type, there are so many different theories around this, but every one of us needs relaxing time. We need to recharge in one way or the other. And if we keep on chasing peak performance and we're always up here and we're like, oh, next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing, and we're not taking care of our energy, of our physical energy, of our emotional energy, of our, we will at some point burn out because we're not fueling the fire anymore.
That's so good. And that's really helpful for people to hear it that way, because I think people think they're supposed to remain in a peak state. And then when they get out of that, that they're being lazy, or that they're slacking, or, oh, it's not working anymore, I'm going backwards. So that the pointing out that there's ebbs and flows, that's huge.
Yeah.
And not only may happen, but needs to happen.
Yeah, it absolutely. And thank you so much for bringing that up. That people think they're going backwards. What I discovered is we're never going backwards. We never go backwards. It might feel that way.
Mhm.
But if you look at a spiral, like for me, our life is like a spiral, and that is going up. It's going up, 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 up. And we're moving up on that spiral every day. It doesn't matter what we do, even if you're binge watching Netflix all day, you're still moving forward because you're taking stuff in. Does it bring you forward in your business? Does it bring you forward in your life or your relationship? But does it help you with recharging your energy in a way? Maybe, if that's the case. So you're doing something for yourself. I'm not encouraging binge watching Netflix all night or all day or for weeks. That's not what I'm encouraging here. But when you're moving up that spiral, you're always moving up. And it might feel like there was one incident, maybe down here, that, I don't know, happened, and it might have traumatized you, or there was something that you need to solve, that's something that you needed to heal, that you go through, and it was really painful. But you took that time, you courageously walked through that, you worked through that, and you feel like now that you're moving up again. And all of a sudden, up here, the same thing hits you again, and you're like, what the? I thought I had cleared that. I thought I have healed that. What is happening? That doesn't mean that you're going backwards. It just means that whatever it is that comes up again up here, you weren't capable of dealing with when you were down here. Mm-hmm. And now you have the tools, now you have the capabilities to heal it, to solve it. That's why it's coming up again. So I know that feeling of feeling stuck, and I know that feeling of feeling like you're going backwards, and it's like, one step forward, three steps back. Come on, life. Let's have a kicker, you know, let's jump 10 steps ahead. How about that? But you're never going backwards. Never, ever, ever.
That's beautiful. Um, when you speak of energy and being in motion and how some people feel that's woo woo, or whether they recognize it as woo woo or whatever they recognize it as, I think most can agree they can feel that from somebody when somebody's mood is off or the energy is not authentic. That you can feel that from somebody just when they walk in a room, it can change the dynamic. You can feel that.
Yeah.
Do you think people recognize it in themselves?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. When you are aware of your energy, of how you react, like how you're, if you're really aware of your energy levels, and also how you react to certain triggers or glimmers or whatever you want to call it, like outside influences,
Yeah.
then it's easier to recognize, okay, where's my energy level right now? Like, how am I going more inward? Am I going more outward? That also has a lot to do with, for us women, with our cycle. Like, where am I in my cycle? Am I more in the, yes, I'm going out there and I'm going to conquer the world? Or am I more in this, oh, no, I'm going to go in my cave and drink some tea and everything is nice and cozy. And so being aware of the multifaceted thing, the multifaceted beings that we are, and the different layers of us, exploring all of that. There are a lot of people who are really aware on some days and maybe not on other days. Like for me, there I'm most of the time I'm really aware of my energy and how I also give it away. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, wow, I'm giving so much energy right now. That's I no, I don't want that. No, coming back.
Coming back.
Let's
I
bring
love
that back
that.
here.
I love that because I like to think I'm really aware of my energy and what I'm giving off, like to the point that sometimes like, oh, I'm in like such an odd mood. I don't even enjoy myself right now. So I like that right now. I'm gonna bring it back before I bring down the room. Not that
Yeah,
I'm capable of bringing down the room, but sometimes I can even feel it in myself. I've got something on me that I'm carrying right now that doesn't feel good at all.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
being aware and being like, okay, yeah, maybe sometimes you are in the mood where like, I'm bringing down the room. You know, I'm just, I don't care. I'm just gonna burn it all down right here. Like this is my mood right now.
Yeah.
But then, it depends on who you are, what what you want. And but I know those moments as well that you're talking about, especially with my kids. Sometimes I'm like, oh, okay. And then I just go out in the garden, and I stand on the ground. I like a couple of days it was like really, really cold. And I just took off my shoes. I just threw my shoes over the porch and I was like, and I stomped out in the garden. And my son was like, Mama, are you okay? I'm like, no, but I will be.
Yep, she's in the garden again.
Yeah.
So grounding is so powerful if you want to do exactly that. Ground yourself or get rid of some maybe negative energy. What if somebody's going into a meeting or they've got something really important coming up? Even maybe it's a party, maybe it's a kids event, maybe it's a work function, and they just want to show up at their best. What's something somebody can do before they walk into the room? Or if
Okay.
they just need to shift their energy because they're going to a family event and oh, I'm in a mood. I want to just, oh, I want to shake this off and show up at my best. What's something we could do?
Well, you just named one of the things, like shake it off. Like literally shake it off. If you need to shift your mind, if you need to distract your mind from a negative loop or a negative thought pattern or whatever, like shake it off. Do something with your body that distracts your mind. That's one thing, like really shake, like jump up and down, put on a song and just like jump around, do something, you know, hide yourself in a closet if you need to, and then jump and shake. Like that's one of the things.
Yeah.
Another thing is that we store a lot of energy in our lymphatic system. Our lymphatic system is there to transport negative or like cells energy out of our body, to move, clear our body. So sometimes it just helps to hit the big lymphatic points, like underneath your arm, in your what's that called? Armpit? No, armpit is here. This is the elbow. This is what is
the axilla?
Yes, axilla. Yes. Or your hips, that's as well, or in the back of your knee. Like when you hit that a little bit, like this, like not really hit, but just give some pressure, some on your chest here, on below your collarbone.
Okay.
Because this will also help. And what also helps is for most of us when, I mean, family gatherings for a lot of people are really, really stressful. So even, you know, before a gathering, people are like, they get tense. And when we get tense, when we have even the thought of getting tense, what our solar plexus, which is here, does is like this. It cramps.
Okay.
The solar plexus is like right underneath your rib cage.
Mm-hmm.
And the solar plexus, yes, it's a chakra point, but it's also actually, it's the diaphragm. So our diaphragm helps our lung inflate and expand as well by going up and down. But when it cramps, what happens is your energetic center here is cramped and your energy cannot flow freely. So what you can do, of course, is you can go to an acupressure practitioner. But if you don't have time to do that, what you can do is you take your left hand and do this.
Okay.
Then you take your right thumb and find the deepest spot in your hand.
Okay. Yeah.
Where where it's the softest and where it's like the deepest.
Yeah.
And then you push in there.
Okay.
And when you push in there, when you feel pain, you push a little bit more.
Okay. Yep.
So, and then you hold it for about 30 seconds. And after about 30, about 15, 20 seconds, it should release a little bit. Then you push a little bit more.
Okay.
And after 30 seconds, you slowly release your thumb. And then you do the same thing on your right hand, because our hands mirror our organs. And since the solar plexus is on both sides, it's also on both sides. So here we do this again, the bird, the beak of the bird.
Yeah.
Find the deepest spot in our hand.
Yep.
Push in. And hold it. And when the pain starts easing out a little bit, we push a little bit more in. And after about 30 seconds, we can then slowly release our thumb and release the pressure. And what happens is that your solar plexus, your diaphragm, gets a release, which means that your energy can flow freely again through your body.
Wow, that's fascinating. And you can very discreetly do that no matter where you are.
Yep.
I love that. So for the audience that's just listening, this is also on YouTube, so you could actually see Bea-Marie doing this. Very cool. I love little tricks like that people can actually apply and quietly do that while you're even speaking to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, especially sometimes, when you are at events or before you go on stage or before you go in a meeting and present something, you
Mhm.
are there are people like at an event, you talk to them, and you can feel maybe that you're getting tense, or maybe the energy of that person is not where you're like, ooh, comfortable or something. Those are just little tricks that you can do with your hands. There are like more tricks that you can
Mhm.
do, like to yeah, to open up or to relax or stuff like that. But this would like completely bust this episode if we go through all of this.
Oh my gosh. Well, another one of the many ways people can access your energy and your information, it sounds like, is and we'll definitely put a lot of all your contact information in the show notes, but you have a podcast called 52 Weeks of Flow. Tell
Yeah.
us about that and what people might expect there and how they can find you there.
Yeah. So 52 Weeks of Flow is in its second season now. And we are exploring peak performances. We're exploring life enhancement. We're exploring all types of flow.
Mhm.
Peak performance is also known as the flow state. But I didn't just want to stop there. Like the first season is a lot about the science, it's a lot about the different types of flow that you can get into. There's like the energy flow of the body. How does that work? Then also parenting flow. How can you flow with your family, for example? And
Mhm.
I invite a lot of amazing guests. Like this season, we're in episode, I think 20 now. And it's like every Monday it's coming out, and I have just amazing guests. Like there are amazing guests there. So yeah, from business coaches to scientists to fertility experts to visibility coaches to marketing to brand, like I'm trying to bring so many people in, so many different people in, so that you really get a flow experience every week.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's for everybody. Everybody could benefit from that.
Yes, absolutely. It's not tailored to women or men. It's just like I I love working with women. I just
Mhm.
love working with women because I'm a woman. So I know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the cycles and the seasons, and about, the energy flow of a female body is different than to a men's body. Or when I talk about embodying female energy and masculine energy and balancing that or harmonizing it. I also have male clients, but like the podcast is for all genders, whatever you identify it, because it is important for all of us to find our flow.
Mhm. And life enhancement means something different to everybody. So the fact
Yeah.
that you address that from so many different angles is
Yes.
really powerful. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this has been amazing and so, so helpful. So aside from the podcast, so where is your podcast? Where can that be found?
Everywhere. You can find it on
Everywhere.
Spotify, on iTunes, on Deezer, on all the different podcast platforms, but it's also on YouTube. So
Okay.
on YouTube, you can find it. It's at Moving River.
Moving River. And the podcast itself is called 52 Weeks of Flow.
Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. Where else can people find you if they wanted to learn more about this?
So I am on Instagram. That's one of my preferred channels. So if you just want to talk to me or have any questions, you can just jump into my DMs on Instagram. I am at moving_river. And I'm also on Facebook. Some people like Facebook more than Instagram. There you can find me, also Moving River, or you can come into my community, which is the Expansion Circle community. Because for me, it's all about expansion. Like everything that I do is about expansion, expanding your mind, your consciousness, your physical abilities, like everything. YouTube, I also said, and I'm also on LinkedIn. If you like to, talk about collaborations or all that jazz, yeah, I'm there.
That's amazing. And all that contact information will be in the show notes as well. But this is just so, so powerful, such just amazing information. Um, what would be some final words if you that you would want to share with the audience that we may not have covered, or that we've covered and you just feel it's so important it's worth repeating?
Oh, thank you so much that you say that.
Yes.
Because the thought that came up was, you're never going backwards. You know, you're never stuck. You're never going backwards. Stuckness is a concept that we created ourselves to hold us back, to make us small, and to stop ourselves from our destiny, from what we really want. So if we get over those thought patterns that we have, if we get over all those concepts that we created to not live our best life, or not start the business, or not do something that we really feel in our heart that we would completely love, we would live a life that is beyond what we can think of at the moment. Because our brain is our biggest asset, but also our biggest obstacle.
Let's make it work in our favor.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. I'm so thankful, so appreciative for your time. I personally got so much out of this, and I know everybody else will.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me the space to talk about everything that I love.
Yes, your work is amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you, everybody, for being here for another episode of We Are Meant for More. And if you feel anybody could benefit from this episode, which is pretty much everybody, my gosh, you're amazing. Please share it. And thank you again, Bea-Marie Aning. You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. You're an amazing host.
Oh, so much fun.
Yes, it was so much fun talking to you.
Like a conversation. All right, I'll stop the recording. I'll try to do it without ending the call.